Hello once again. I appreciate you coming back to watch my final 12 picks of the 2017 draft. The last video was for those only or only interested in the first few picks of the NFL draft, of the NFL mock draft for me. First 20 picks I predicted. But, of course, every team after 20, so Detroit, Miami, New York Giants, Oakland, Las Vegas, Houston, Seattle, all of those teams will be coming next, and I will feature their picks as well. So, starting off at 21, as we continue, this is the Detroit Lions select defensive lineman Caleb Brantley out of Florida. Now, I think this is a need for the Lions, and I think they filled their need with Caleb Brantley. I don't think they were expecting Caleb to fall all the way to them, but he does, and I think this would be great for the Lions to pick him up. It gives it probably a B+. This seems like a fine selection to me. I think at 6'3", as a defensive liner, weighing 307 pounds is quite a bit, but, you can do it. Caleb Brantley did it. So I think this is going to be a fine pick by the Lions. I really wouldn't know who else they could pick. Of course, Tim Williams and Takkarist McKinley are on the board, but I'm not too high on McKinley just because of speed, not really. Or was that Hassan Reddick? I think both of them were actually pretty fast. And Tim Williams, I would consider a reach. Could go for T.J. Watt here, but I would also consider that a reach at 21. Alright, well at 22, I have the absolute perfect pairing of, as Voch Lombardi would call it, a pairing of ass whooping, as he did call Cam Robinson. They select. So Cam Robinson can play alongside Laramie Tunsil. This would be perfect. Cam Robinson out of Alabama. Alabama lost a lot of good players to the draft this year. 6'6", 325 pounds out of Alabama. Robinson, a former top 5 recruit out of high school, All-American. I think Cam Robinson will really, really help this team, and their offensive line, who 2 years ago was one of the worst in the league, maybe, is now slowly forming to be one of the best in the league, helping Jay Ajayi run and help protect who will probably be Ryan Tannehill for the next few years. Now at 23, offensive linemen are shooting off the board. Now Forrest Lamp. So the Giants at 23 do get another offensive lineman in Forrest Lamp. I don't think they were anticipating him, and they were probably more high on Ramczyk and Cam Robinson falling to them. Unfortunately for them, that will not happen, but Forrest Lamp, they pick up a very nice player. Forrest Lamp out of Western Kentucky. Probably give this also a B+, because he's not an amazing player, but he is probably the best available at this moment. So Forrest Lamp at 23 goes to the New York Giants. Now at 24, the Oakland Raiders select, which to me is a perfect fit combined with just like location to me. Takkarist McKinley, UCLA, stays in California, well, Nevada maybe in the future, if this is to happen. Takkarist McKinley, I think this was the guy that blew up the combine with his speed and I believe strength as well. At 6'2", I wouldn't consider him undersized. At 250 as a D-liner, I might consider him not as big as you'd expect him to be, though, as far as weight goes. I think Takkarist McKinley will be a better NFL player than he was a NCAA player, but I think the Raiders would be lucky to get a guy like Takkarist McKinley at slot 24, which they do. Now, at 25, we have one of the more flashy picks. The Houston Texans select Texas A&M quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Yes, I said Patrick Mahomes, not Deshaun Watson, not Deshaun Kaiser, not maybe Nathan Peterson, if you were expecting that. I did say Patrick Mahomes. So, Patrick Mahomes, absolute gunslinger. Throwing the ball 80 to 90 yards, maybe even, which is just incredible with his wrist, maybe. That's how good he is. No, not Texas A&M. I'm so sorry, Texas Tech. Keyword is, though, he will be staying in Texas, and I think this would be a great fit for Patrick Mahomes. The only problem I see is he's the most raw quarterback within the top 100, maybe even. So I think there will be no one to sit behind, that is for sure, for Patrick Mahomes. So even if he throws 30 interceptions in his rookie season, I would not worry too much. I think this guy has the highest ceiling, but he is, of course, incredibly raw. However, he does manage to win. So if Mitchell Trubisky is still on the board, and you take Patrick Mahomes, then this becomes a C. If he's not, then this becomes probably a B+, because I'm not high on Deshaun Watson, even though Deshaun Watson is readier than Patrick Mahomes right now, but they both do have that winner gene inside them that you want as a quarterback. I'd be happy with Patrick Mahomes at 25 to Houston. Now at 26, the Seahawks, as the run on offensive linemen continues, do find a guy they do like within the top 30 on my draft board. Well, top 35 maybe. Garrett Bowles it is, out of Utah. And, out of Utah, exactly. 6'5", 300 pounds, I think perfect build for an offensive lineman. Definitely better than Ifedi, whatever you call him. You might be able to pair those two on the offensive line, but I really think if Garrett Bowles is your best offensive lineman, if he's on your offensive line, at least your offensive line won't be that horrible, I'd say. So if they do get him at 26, I think they should be happy with that. I'm not high on them taking freaking Kevin King, I believe his name is. I don't even see him in the top whatever cornerbacks. Yeah, he's the one on my board. He's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like the 12th ranked cornerback on my board, and you want to take him at 26. The NFL.com even has him ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16th ranked cornerback on NFL's draft.com. NFL.com's board at 89 overall. That is an absolute reach if they do take him at 26. Garrett Bowles, he's on the board. Take him. Safe pick. Do it. Now, at 27 is a man most of you might have been missing by now, and it is indeed Christian McCaffrey going to Kansas City. This might freak out Green Bay fans now, because they're thinking, alright, if Christian McCaffrey is going to fall all the way to 27, might as well make it past Kansas City and go slip to Green Bay. That is untrue. Now, in my draft board, at least, my mock draft at least, Christian McCaffrey here at 27 to Kansas City, where I will be in just a few months, checking out a new city I haven't been to before in Kansas City. Christian McCaffrey. If he is on the board here, this is definitely an A+ for the Chiefs, who just let go of Jamal Charles. If he is on the board at 27, which to me is already unlikely, but I just didn't know where to slot him before, because I think taking him at 14 to the Eagles or 15 to the Colts is a bit of a reach, or 16 to the Baltimore Ravens is a bit of a reach. And the teams in the middle didn't really need a running back. Maybe could have slotted him to Tampa. They didn't need one though, so I just slotted Christian McCaffrey to 27 to the Chiefs, which is where he ended up being for me. I think A+, of course, obviously, for this pick. Now 28, the Cowboys will select Marlon Humphrey, a corner out of Alabama, again. Another Alabama prospect going in the first round. It's going to be like 6 already. Marlon Humphrey to me is just a perfect fit for the Cowboys right now. They could take Sidney Jones or Adoree Jackson. Might be a guy I would like seeing in a Cowboys uniform, but if Marlon Humphrey falls all the way here, and he will be only the second cornerback selected in the first round of the draft, and spoiler alert, he will be on my mock draft. Even the second corner selected overall in the second round. Well, there will be no more corners after him, is what I'm saying. 24th rank on NFL.com. I rank him a bit higher than that even, because I think Marlon Humphrey, I had him before everyone started with the mock drafts. I had him at like 10, so, and Marshawn Lattimore like 15. Now Marshawn Lattimore is at like 10, and Marlon Humphrey at, as I said, like 20, 17, yeah, somewhere around there. So I think the Cowboys would be very lucky to have him here. Mo Claiborne, I don't know, has he left? But there's Barry Church is left. There's so many players in the secondary and defense, anyways, from Dallas that has left. So I think selecting a good secondary player here, or just defensive player in general, would be a good idea. Haason Reddick, another person that comes to mind, but I think Marlon Humphrey is really the safe pick here, and I would give this an A if he does fall there. So at 29, we have the Green Bay Packers, and this might come as a surprise to some of you, selecting Joe Mixon. And yes, I am incredibly high on Joe Mixon. Now, say Joe Mixon did not declare for this draft, and he declared for the next draft, and say he never punched a girl in his entire life, which decreased his draft stock dramatically. Joe Mixon to me is a great running back. I don't know if he's better than Dalvin Cook, but he is a great running back. So say he never punched that girl, he might have been gone off the board at slot 8 to the Carolina Panthers instead of Dalvin Cook, but he did not. So at 29 to Green Bay, I think they're lucky to have him if they have the balls to pick him here. And I'm predicting they do. And I think Joe Mixon will find a nice home in Green Bay. And to his good, if he wants to win a lot of championships, and he seems to be very eager to do that, I think this is really the place to be for him. Joe Mixon out of Oklahoma comes to Green Bay. I think this is a perfect selection for Green Bay if Joe Mixon can, in fact, stay out of trouble. Now at 30, as everyone has it, as have the Pittsburgh Steelers, if Haason Reddick is on the board, of course, taking Haason Reddick. And I think there's enough said about this. Haason Reddick, to me, is perfect here. If as I said, if he makes it here. Another selection possibility would be Jabril Peppers, and I think they would take him if Haason Reddick is off the board, which is very, very, very likely. But in my mock draft, he is on the board, so Jabril Peppers will not go at 30. His last hope in the first round will be Atlanta or New Orleans. Definitely NFC East, South, West. I don't know. So now pick 31. The Atlanta Falcons select a defensive lineman, Tim Williams, and finally Tim Williams comes off the board. He will be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th defensive lineman in only 31 picks to come off the board in such a defensive lineman heavy class, and I think they can even be happy with Tim Williams as only the 10th ranked defensive lineman in the draft. I think they can even be happy with that. They might even be happy with Charles Harris or Carl Lawson, maybe. I think they do fill a bit of a need here, defensive line. Just better your defense and win a championship, Atlanta. God damn it. That's really all I can tell you, because you've shown how good you are and the potential to win a championship. You just couldn't get it done against old Tom Brady. Now at 32, the rivals of the New Orleans Saints select. He finally comes off the board, the absolutely athletic freak in Jabril Peppers. I think Jabril Peppers I could talk about for hours. He is so unbelievably athletic. It's just such a bummer that he never committed himself to one position. Now, 5'11" to me, 213. I don't think it'll be too bad if he just moves to linebacker. He's got a decent coverage, of course improvable, but I think the problem is he never committed himself to a position. He could just be a running back. If he was 10 years old and he said, "Mom, Dad, I really, really, really want to become a running back," they'd say, "All right, well, you're the most athletic kid I've seen in my entire life. Commit yourself to running back for the next 10 years. Practice running back drill after another, and commit to that position." Then he would definitely be number one. He's so greatly athletic that he has the potential to be that, but he just didn't commit himself to just one position, which is why he ends up here, still in the first round of the NFL draft, becoming a professional football player at slot 32 to the New Orleans Saints. Jabril Peppers. Unfortunately, you don't know what he is great at yet, but you will know soon, I hope, because Jabril Peppers to me is a player with so much potential. You just need to carve it out, and if there's a team to carve it out, who better than the New Orleans Saints, or maybe the New England Patriots? But they unfortunately traded their pick for Brandon Cook. Now, that does it for my NFL mock draft this year. Pick 20 to 32 now. This was another 16 minutes. I hope you enjoyed. Leave any suggestions for other picks, or if you want to tell me I have a bad haircut, go ahead and tell me that in the comments. Anything will be very much appreciated, of course. Thanks for watching, and I will see you